Ladies and gentlemen, there's a kind of power that doesn't need to speak, a presence so magnetic it wins hearts in complete silence. While others chase, explain, and beg to be seen, you walk in, say nothing, and still become unforgettable. Because true attraction isn't in the words, it's in the energy, the grace, the mystery you carry without trying. If he doesn't hear your silence, he was never worth your voice. Stay with me, and I'll show you how to make them feel your absence louder than your presence ever could. When you step into a room, you don't need to announce your presence. The way you carry yourself, the calm in your stride, the stillness in your gaze, it all speaks before you ever say a word. True power lies not in volume, but in intention. You can captivate attention not by demanding it, but by being so in tune with yourself that the world leans in to understand your silence. People notice authenticity, they sense self-respect, and they are drawn to energy that doesn't seek approval. The woman who doesn't chase becomes the one who is chased. In silence, there is mystery. In confidence, there is allure. And when you trust your own worth, you don't feel the need to overexpress it. You allow your energy to speak, and that becomes your loudest message. That message is unforgettable. That message is unforgettable. Confidence is not arrogance. It's the quiet assurance that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. When you walk with clarity in who you are, you stop overthinking, stop over-explaining, and stop apologizing for your presence. The most attractive people are not always the loudest in the room. They're the ones who can hold space without a single word. The ones who are so rooted in their self-worth that others feel more grounded just by being near them. You don't need to talk excessively to leave a lasting impression. You simply need to be present, aligned, and intentional. Confidence doesn't scream, it hums, it resonates, and it lingers. You become magnetic, not because you said the right thing, but because you didn't need to say anything at all. There's a different kind of power in being composed. When you don't rush to fill silence, when you're not afraid of quiet moments, you show emotional maturity. Silence becomes your canvas, and how you move within it defines your grace. You signal that you don't need to compete for attention, because you are secure in the knowledge that you already have it, not through noise, but through presence. Presence is a language, and those who master it know they don't need words to create connection. Your presence can calm storms or ignite hearts, depending on the energy you carry. It's in how you enter a space, how you look people in the eye, how you listen more than you speak. There's power in simply being still while the world spins around you. You set the tone, you lead without force, and you attract those who are aligned with that rhythm. When people are used to being overstimulated, a calm, confident presence becomes a rare and irresistible force. That force can draw someone in deeper than 1,000 clever words ever could. When you carry yourself with confidence, people start to treat you differently, not because you demand it, but because you've already decided how you deserve to be treated. You teach others how to value you by the way you value yourself. The way you don't overextend, the way you don't shrink, and the way you choose quality over attention. All of it speaks volumes. In silence, you demonstrate that your time, your energy, and your emotions are sacred. You are not easily accessed, and anything not aligned with that energy simply fades away. That clarity, that boundary, that quiet strength, it becomes a statement, and those who notice it never forget it. Many believe attraction is built on words, but it's really built on frequency. You don't have to speak to emit power. You only need to be intentional with your energy. When someone feels calm around you, inspired by your stillness, or intrigued by your silence, they're not reacting to your voice, they're reacting to your essence. Energy doesn't lie. You could sit silently in a room and make hearts race, simply because your energy is grounded and undemanding. That kind of connection is deeper than conversation. It's energetic alignment. And it all begins with how you feel about yourself. When you carry a quiet certainty, others are drawn to discover what's behind it. Being confidently silent is not about playing games or being manipulative. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that you don't feel the need to overperform. You don't chase, you don't beg, you don't seek to impress. You simply are, and that is enough. When you realize you don't need to be loud to be seen, you stop wasting energy on noise and start investing it into presence. That kind of presence creates a gravitational pull. It commands respect without asking for it. And it makes the right people want to stay close. Not because of what you said, but because of how they felt when they were near you. There is strength in restraint. When you know you can speak, but choose silence instead, you are in full control. Silence isn't passive, it's powerful. It gives you the space to observe, to process, and to respond with wisdom instead of emotion. In moments of tension, silence can disarm. In moments of peace, it can deepen connection. You show maturity by not reacting to every trigger, by choosing your moments carefully, and by allowing your silence to hold more meaning than any forced explanation. That's the kind of strength people remember. That's the kind of grace that wins hearts quietly and permanently. Confidence doesn't need approval. It thrives without applause. When you're centered in your own identity, you don't try to become louder to be noticed. You allow your stillness to make the world quieter around you. People may not remember exactly what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And when you move through life with elegance, clarity, and quiet power, you leave an impression that lingers. You become magnetic without effort. You become a mystery worth unraveling. And in that space, love finds you. Not because you asked for it, but because you embodied it. The real secret to silent attraction is emotional security. When you are not shaken by silence, when you are comfortable in solitude, when you glow from within without needing validation, you become untouchable. You stop needing words to express your worth because your energy already carries that message. The most powerful people don't chase attention. They attract it naturally through alignment. They let their aura speak louder than their voice. Real attraction doesn't start with words, it starts with energy. It's in the glance that lingers, the presence that lures, and the calm that makes someone wonder what you're thinking without ever having to ask. The most powerful connections are born in silence, not conversation. You don't have to chase anyone or force moments to feel seen. When your energy is aligned with peace, confidence, and self-respect, it becomes undeniable. You stand out by doing less, not more. You don't need to overcompensate or seek constant attention. There is something magnetic about a person who knows their own value and lets their energy do the introduction. That's when silent attraction becomes an art. When you understand your own worth, you stop trying to prove it. You no longer feel compelled to explain your story, to justify your choices, or to compete for attention. Your silence becomes your strength. Your mystery becomes your signature. And your vibe becomes your voice. People will be curious, not because you told them everything, but because you told them nothing. They'll want to understand what gives you that calm, that presence, that certainty. It's rare. Most people rush to be heard. But when you sit in your power without speaking, you become unforgettable. Your silence creates space for wonder, and that wonder becomes a gravitational force. There's an undeniable pull in someone who knows they don't need to fill every moment with noise. In stillness, there is presence. In presence, there is clarity. When you're at peace within, you radiate calm outward. And that calm is attractive in a world full of chaos. People crave stability, even if they don't know it. Your silence becomes a sanctuary. You're not reacting, you're not performing, and you're not trying to impress. You're just being, and being deeply. That's what catches someone's attention at a soul level. The surface is loud. The soul listens to the quiet. And that quiet becomes your power. Every time you choose silence over explanation, you create space for someone to observe your energy instead of your words. They notice the way you handle pressure, the way you respect your own peace, the way you don't beg for understanding. And that observation builds intrigue. Intrigue is far more powerful than familiarity. Words can be forgotten, but energy leaves an imprint. Your stillness tells them you're not in a rush, that you value intention, that you choose yourself first. And that kind of energy doesn't chase, it attracts effortlessly, and it lingers long after you've left the room. Most people speak to fill voids, but when you're secure, you don't fear the void. You understand it's a space to be felt, not filled. Your silence becomes a mirror for others. It makes them reflect, question, wonder. They begin to feel your absence even when you're present, because your energy forces them to become aware. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about being present without needing to perform. And last, it's about being cold or distant. It's about being present without needing to perform. It's about being present without needing to perform. That presence is rare, and it creates deep emotional impact. People won't know why they're drawn to you. They'll just feel it. That's the art of silent attraction. It bypasses logic and speaks directly to the heart. Silent attraction isn't about withholding. It's about mastering your energy. It's about choosing when to speak and when to simply be. It's about showing up fully in your essence without demanding recognition. The most impactful connections happen when words aren't necessary. A glance, a moment, a calm interaction. These things create an emotional resonance that talking never could. The way you carry yourself tells more than 1,000 compliments. When someone experiences your silence and still feels connected, that's when they know it's real. That's when they realize they've met someone different, someone rare. Being silent doesn't mean being passive. It means being intentional. You don't speak unless it's meaningful. You don't act unless it's aligned. And you don't move unless it feels right. That kind of discipline in your presence builds trust. It creates mystery, not confusion. It gives others permission to lean in slowly, to explore your world with respect. Because when you don't offer everything at once, you teach others to earn access. That patience creates value. You become someone worth discovering. And that discovery isn't rushed, it's savored. Like a song with no lyrics that still touches the soul. The most magnetic people aren't the ones who talk the most. They're the ones whose presence lingers in silence. They walk into a room and change the atmosphere, not with their voice, but with their energy. That's not something you can fake. It's built through self-awareness, through emotional control, through inner peace. When you've done the work to become whole, you no longer need to prove it. And in that wholeness, you become a force. A force that doesn't need attention, but commands it. A force that doesn't chase love, but invites it. And that force begins with silent power. Your silence can speak louder than any compliment, confession, or declaration. It can say, I know who I am. I know what I deserve, and I don't need to perform for your approval. That message is felt without being said, and it leaves an impression. In a society obsessed with speaking first and listening later, silence becomes an act of rebellion. It becomes your elegance, your boundary, your filter. It keeps you in control of your energy. It keeps you centered in your value. And it creates an aura around you that no one can quite put into words, but everyone feels deeply. Silent attraction is about embodying your worth so completely that people are drawn not just to what you look like, but to what they feel when they're near you. It's about not needing to explain yourself, yet still being understood. It's about making hearts beat faster without ever raising your voice. And when someone finally does earn your attention, your conversation, your vulnerability, it's not just heard, it's felt. Because they know it came from depth, from intention, from energy. And that's what makes it unforgettable. You don't need to raise your voice or demand attention to leave a lasting impact. Sometimes, the most powerful message is delivered through quiet elegance and unshakable composure. The way you carry yourself in silence can speak volumes, more than any dramatic gesture or well-rehearsed line ever could. There is a strength in stillness, a force in subtlety, and a grace in choosing not to react. That's not weakness, it's power under control. It tells the world you're not desperate to be seen because you already see yourself. The one who doesn't need to prove anything is often the most magnetic. When you walk away with grace, you write a louder story than those who scream for closure. That story is written in silence, but it echoes forever. Grace is not about being soft, it's about being solid. It's the art of restraint when others expect you to lose control. It's the power to hold your head high when disappointment tries to pull you down. When someone sees that you won't lower your standards, that you won't trade your dignity for attention, they start to recognize your value differently. People remember how you made them feel, especially when your silence carried the message they didn't expect. You don't need to beg, plead, or convince anyone to choose you. Let your absence do what your presence no longer should. There's power in walking away with class. There's dignity in not giving them the reaction they hoped for. In a world obsessed with noise, elegance stands out like a rare jewel. It's not just about what you wear or how you move. It's the decision to be calm when chaos surrounds you. It's about choosing your battles, preserving your peace, and letting your actions define your standards. Apuchevesi hustu, apuchevesi tu bios, viri rigo, viri hustu. It's about choosing your battles, preserving your peace, and letting your actions define your standards. It's about choosing your battles, preserving your peace. It's about choosing your battles, preserving your peace,